What's up? We're sitting here in my kitchen getting ready to review the season in review. In this episode, I will be telling you my postseason awards for the NFL, along with answering 3 viewer question videos from good friends. First, my first award will be the Fantasy Football Player of the Year. Now, this one was close. I was stuck between 2 people, Drew Brees and Rob Gronkowski. But I decided to make my own award. I gave Drew Brees the Player of the Year the Fantasy Football Player of the Year award because of the consistent basis of him making sure everyone got the numbers that he needed from him. Now, the other award for Rob Gronkowski, he gets the Fantasy Football Player Surprise of the Year award. He was a shocker. No one really knew about who Rob Gronkowski was, and he came out of nowhere this year to break the receiving yardage record for tight ends. Now, also, my next award will be the Defensive Player of the Year. Now, this guy is Mr. Consistent. He always is up there leading the league in tackles. Just happens that he's on a bad team, but it's London Fletcher from the Washington Redskins. 166 tackles this year, 3 forced fumbles, and a dominant force on that Washington Redskins defense. Yes, they're not a winning team, but they are the ability to have a good defense because London Fletcher is still clogging up the middle. Along with the defense, we're going to go with the Defensive Rookie of the Year, and we're going to go with Aldon Smith, linebacker, defensive lineman from the 49ers. I understand he just got busted for a DUI last night, but still, this kid changed that 49ers defense. You had Justin Smith get double-teamed. Aldon Smith comes out of nowhere, and he's sacking the quarterback. Aldon Smith made a difference. He could play in coverage. He could blitz the quarterback, stop the run. This kid made a difference on that 49ers defense for a team that went 13-3, made it to the NFC Championship game. Now, staying on the defensive side with my comeback player of the year, that would be DeQuell Jackson from the Cleveland Browns. Now, you got to look at the Browns. They had one guy, DeQuell Jackson, who was a dominant force, second in the league in tackles, dominant inside presence, dominant, was able to stop the run, could play coverage. He had injury plague 2 years in a row, barely got any playing time, came out of nowhere this year to come second in the league in tackles. Guy can play, and he is, even though it's just like Fletcher, he's on a losing team, not a lot of recognition, but he can play the position and is a great player. Now we're going to go with my Offensive Player of the Year, Drew Brees. I mean, what else can you say about the guy? Breaking Dan Marino's record. Yes, they got knocked out in the second round by the 49ers, but what a season and what a career for Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints. They had a great season. They were able to make it to the playoffs. Drew Brees had outstanding numbers. Just an all-around great season for Drew Brees. My Offensive Rookie of the Year came down to 2 guys. But I'm going to hand it to Andy Dalton, the quarterback of the Bengals, because I'm really proud of how he stepped into that offense after all the controversy with Carson Palmer, stepped in, led that team back to the playoffs. I mean, this was a Cincinnati Bengals team that has struggled for the past couple years, and he comes in, and yes, he had A.J. Green, who I was compared to. Andy Dalton and Green were the 2 that I wasn't sure, but Andy Dalton came in and just helped take charge of that offense, and him with Green and all those other weapons led the Bengals back to the playoffs. Now, my overall Rookie of the Year, I'm going to give it to Cameron Newton. Yes, he wasn't on a playing team, but breaking Peyton Manning's passing yardage record, running in like crazy, rushing the ball, throwing the ball. He made it to the Pro Bowl. Yes, he was an alternative because Eli Manning couldn't play due to the Super Bowl, but he got into the Pro Bowl, and what a tremendous year for a man that a lot of people didn't even believe could play in the NFL, including myself. But a great year for Cam Newton. Next, we're going to go to my Coach of the Year. Of course, what else can you say about Jimmy Harbaugh? Coming from Stanford, he was successful in Stanford. He had Andrew Luck. Surprised he left, but he did. Surprised, came into the 49ers, made that team a 13-3 team, number 2 seed in the playoffs, and so close against the 49ers, or against, the Giants in the NFC Championship game, and got just a little bit of problems with Kyle Williams. Nope, he's not the only one to blame from that loss. But Harbaugh, great coach, came in there. Alex Smith, I figured all along this kid could play. Harbaugh made this kid a competitor. He proved that offense can actually play, and he made that defense much better. Harbaugh, great job to you. And now, of course, the award everyone wants to know, who is my MVP of the year? I'm tied between Rodgers, Brady, and Brees, without a doubt. It's not Brady. One reason it's not Brady, I understand, man, he had great numbers, tremendous numbers. But who'd they play? He only had about 4 or 5 games of teams 8-8 or over. I mean, yeah, he did good in the playoffs, but I mean, now he's in the Super Bowl. I don't think he had enough of high-quality victories to get him in. Now, Aaron Rodgers, I love my Packers. I love the Green Bay Packers. But Rodgers, he struggled. He struggled in the playoffs. You've got to come up big in the playoffs. So, of course, it's going to Drew Brees. Again, what an outstanding year for this guy. I gave him 3 awards. Tremendous season, and hopefully he can continue on and help the Saints, even though I'm not a huge Saints fan, help the Saints get back to that winning mode. Because him and Sean Payton, they've got it down pat. Alright, that's it for my awards. Now let's look at our 3 viewer questions of the week. This one comes from Kyle Callahan. He says, who do you think had a better NFL season, Aaron Rodgers or Drew Brees? Well, this was answered pretty much with my MVP vote, but it's got to be Drew Brees. Both outstanding seasons. But again, Drew Brees, he had a lot of weapons. He knew how to utilize every weapon that he had. Colston, Henderson, Sproles, Thomas, Ivory, Jimmy Graham, Lance Moore. I mean, what couldn't this guy do? He would get there, he'd get the fullback involved. He'd get the number 2 tight end involved. Everyone on the field caught a pass at once in the season, at least probably more than 5 times in that season. Drew Brees, outstanding season. This question comes from Kevin. Kevin says, who had a better season, Rob Gronkowski or Jimmy Graham? Again, both 2 surprises. Jimmy Graham, a rookie no one really knew about. Rob Gronkowski, yeah, he played last year. He was kind of overshadowed with Aaron Hernandez having a good year last year. But this year, it's got to be Gronk. Rob Gronkowski, yes, I know, they went back and forth in 1 week, going with that record. Gronkowski broke it, then Graham broke it, then Gronkowski went right back and took it. But Gronkowski, what a year. These guys both changing the way that tight ends are used in the NFL. They are not just blockers. They are good at catching the football now and getting into the end zone. Well, I'm going to have to go with Rob Gronkowski. My final question is from Joe Williams. Joe says, who will win this year's Super Bowl? Rematch, Week 9, these 2 teams faced. But there's 2 significant differences, and it's because of each team's defense. The New York Giants defense struggled earlier in the year. Their secondary has stepped up. And you know what? Yeah, their secondary stepped up huge. But it's not just the secondary. That D-line had came out of nowhere. We knew the names, but they finally started getting pressure. And on the Patriots side, 31st in yards allowed. But they came up big when they needed to in the playoffs. They had the ability to stop them. They had stopped the offense. They caused turnovers. Yeah, it doesn't help. Or it helps that you have Tom Brady on the other side of the ball. But it was a great year for both defenses coming into the playoffs. My edge has got to go to the New York Giants for one reason only. They can run the football. Brandon Jacobs and Ahmad Bradshaw will get that football and the run game going, and they will win the Super Bowl 21-20. Well, that's all for this show. But next week, we're going to have a specific topic. We're going to talk about NBA, and most specifically, the NBA rookies. There are a lot of big names out there. We had Kyrie Irving, Kemba Walker, Brandon Knight. A lot of big names out there. We're going to talk about a lot of the NBA right now. And I might even give my third of the way through the season awards. Not sure. We'll see. I'll see you next time. Stay tuned to my Facebook page at Cockrell's Corner Sports Analysis and on YouTube page CCSAPC. Have a great day.